Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Cogan, founder of Eliances.
What a morning it has been with a lineup of heroes. That's right, ones that are building the community. We had the fractional CMO for startups to Fortune 500 companies giving some incredible tips. We just had the founder of UGG brand, famous sheepskin boots. I mean, everybody knows the UGG brand. Later on, we're going to have a special guest that's going to be revealed. But I got to tell you, I want to introduce to you someone very cool, very genuine. He is the grandson of Conrad Hilton. Hilton sound familiar, the name? He is the former executive of the iconic Hilton family hotel brand. I mean, just amazing. And he grew up with this iconic leader, one that pretty much everybody knows. Probably one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all times. I got to ask you, Brad Hilton, he is with LegionCapitalCorp.com. So again, you could reach him at LegionCapitalCorp.com. Brad, what lessons did you learn from your grandfather, Conrad?
I would have to say the number one lesson was integrity. My grandfather, after he had started the hotel business and had become initially successful, the Great Depression happened, and it almost sank him. And everybody was, asking him to file bankruptcy to protect himself and the business and so on. And he didn't see any integrity in that, and went ahead and did not file for bankruptcy. He ended up having to sell most of his hotels. I think he had around 20 at the time and ended up with 3. And so after the Great Depression, he was able to recover, and he was able to get banks and investors to follow him because he had the integrity of not filing bankruptcy. So that's probably the number one lesson. And I would say the next would have to be giving. And when my grandfather passed away, he opened the Hilton Foundation, and through the foundation, it's grown quite large, gives quite a bit of money to organizations around the world to support getting out of poverty, to vision issues, helping people see or get the help that they need. And his thoughts were not to leave anybody in darkness and wandering in poverty. And that would have to be the two things, I think, that he passed on that were most important to me.
That's incredible. In your tenure at Hilton, I mean, you headed up so many different areas, including the information technology group. You spearheaded an initiative that led to increased revenues that impacted, Hilton's bottom line. I can't believe these numbers. You took it from $700 million to $1.2 billion in less than a year. I mean, is that possible? I mean, people refer to you, I've heard at Eliances, as the brilliant visionary. Arlene, who's the chief operating officer at Legion Capital, well, I met with her, and she says that, you've got an uncanny ability to know what market forces are going to shape the future and how. But what is this ability? I mean, where does it come from? I mean, is this something you can learn? Is it something that someone's born with? I mean, Brad Hilton, the grandson of Conrad Hilton, how does this happen?
Well, that's very kind of her to say, and I really appreciate it. I would say that when I take a look at a project or an opportunity, I try to view what that would be several years into the future, if not several decades. And I think, my inspiration, who I look up to, is Steve Jobs and what he was able to accomplish and the kind of visionary he was. And so I'm not claiming I have those kind of abilities, but at the same time, when I get set on something that I see, that I imagine, drive with it and move to make it happen. And I'm just driven by that. And sometimes it feels like the vision you had might not have been the right one, but if you stick with it, you find out that it was. And so that was a key person that I look up to. Also, when I look at a particular market, like this crowdfunding market and what Legion Capital is up to, it has a huge opportunity. There were some new laws that were passed recently that will give the rise to Main Street, and it's not too hard to see that unshackling people from being able to invest in companies, and for companies to be able to advertise themselves to the people, to the general public, that it's just an explosive combination, and that's why Congress passed that. And the Jobs Act was to help these small businesses grow.
I mean, that's incredible.
And create jobs. I
mean, that's great. Yeah, freeing up so many. And you're listening to Eliances Heroes on Money Radio. Are you a hero in business? Make sure you go to Eliances.com, Eliances.com. Brad, I must share with you, there's something bigger than a compliment that someone can give to someone directly. And you know what that is? That's talking about their child. And I had the honor and the privilege to meet your son, who you brought to Eliances, the place where entrepreneurs align. I mean, I got to tell you, what an extremely bright young man, which I am sure you are proud of. I mean, after the meeting, everybody was flooded to go talk to him. Just so articulate and just incredible. So what advice, though? Because, what advice would you provide to others to raise their children to be very kind and professional like your child that you brought to Eliances?
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. That's very special to me. But to answer your question, I think if you just lead by example, be honest and integrity with your kids and let them see, really both sides, the good and the bad of things. Don't shelter them from the bad things, and really just teach them as you go. And so I'm very proud of my son Darren, and see a lot of potential in him, and I can tell that he's also a creative type, that could be a great visionary as well. But I would just say it's just being there with them, spending the time, normal parenting type stuff, but at the same time really sharing with them what you do in life and how you go about it.
And you've also, too, you've been to Eliances. In fact, you presented at our grand table, which was just a ton of entrepreneurs there and that. Maybe you could just share really very briefly just what your impression was. We've got a little less than a minute left of being at Eliances and sharing your vision of what's taking place.
Sure. Well, I was really blown away. It was, I think I was probably one of the lucky few to come in and be able to address the audience on the first day of being there. And so, Fred Way had invited me, and it was a thrill to see how many people from the community were there in the room that are very well connected, and the way Eliances, gets everybody to engage with each other and how that sharing takes place. I was really blown away, and I was very honored to be able to speak to the group and see a lot of potential for our future involvement with Legion Capital.
Well, I got to tell you, Brad, just such valuable advice. I mean, you're doing so much for the community. You're a business leader who has not only employed many throughout your career, but you've ventured out on your own, you've taken risks, and to that, you're a philanthropist who, through the Hilton Foundation, is dedicated to ending hunger and homelessness globally. That makes a hero. And Brad Hilton today, he definitely is one. Make sure you go to legioncapitalcorp.com Eliances.com. Find out more. You could reach Brad there. You can also go to Eliances.com. And when we return, we're going to end the show today with a very special guest, so make sure that you stay tuned. Brad Hilton, our hero for today. Thank you again. Thank you to LoopyDocs.com, our producer, Glue.